Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Secrets to Real Estate Investing. And I'm so excited because I'm having my first ever guest on for a repeat because she's been doing a lot of new stuff going on in her life. And with that, welcome to the show, Iris Veneracion.
Hi, Holly. Happy to be back. Always love to be here with you. So thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Well, thank you for taking time from your now busier schedule with your two new additions into your life, which you'll have to quickly fill us in on that. But so listeners, if you want to get her whole background and story from corporate world to transition to house flipper, go back and listen to episode 1. But Iris, give us like the little filling in since then, like what's happened.
Sure. I still, I'm very passionate about real estate. I love it because there's so many ways to make money in real estate. So, I'm a flipper at heart. I love that. I love the transformation I love the fat checks. And definitely I'm holding a lot more here in Southern California, all in Southern California. I'm happy to say that. And we've also done a lot of not just long-term rentals, but also done a lot of short-term rentals using, the Airbnb platform and whatnot. So I'm really digging that. And still full-time in real estate and just had 2 beautiful twins. And so that's keeping my hands full, but it's a lot of fun. I can't wait till they take over our properties, but that's a long time from now. So keep up.
Okay. So Iris and her partner Anastasia have 2 adorable little boys. What are their names?
It's Blake and Hudson.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys have to watch this on YouTube if you're listening on iTunes because you have to see the picture she held up. They're so cute. And how old are they now?
They're 6 months now. So, and a funny story I share, tell people is that they've already closed their first deal. We went out to rent one of our properties and Anastasia had to show it. And they were sitting in the car because we didn't have a sitter and, they're twins. And we had all these people come check out the house. And someone came and stopped at the car to say, are those twins in the car? Because I have the doors open. And they came out, I said, yes, they're twins. And they're like, oh my God, we're twins. And my daughter has twins and blah, blah, blah. It was like this twin fest.
But oh my gosh.
They ended up renting the house. Those boys closed their first deal.
Awesome. Well, if we were more clever at taxes, I don't think it's possible. It'd be cool if you could pay them a fee to shift some income over to that. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a great idea.
Their first finder's fee. I love it. Yeah.
That's good.
You have to use them in modeling with mailers later or something so you can get all those tax tips, tax write-offs. Okay, cool. Well, that was what I was most excited about. I mean, the business stuff, whatever, but since I'm a mom of 4, I love kids and I'm so excited you've got a couple on your own now.
Yeah. It's been crazy. Everyone asks me if I get any sleep, and I tell them that, I found the secret to getting sleep and it's called a night nanny.
Woohoo! Yes. Well, and I'd love to point something out because night nannies cost money and money can be made, or extra money can be made with real estate investing. Even if people have jobs, maybe they do real estate investing on the side. So I think money can buy happiness because I'm happier when I have more sleep. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely can buy sleep. And, I think it's a great point that you bring up, Holly, because, I'm so grateful that, I do real estate and it's afforded me, the saying I like to say is I like to flip for the fast cash, but I hold for the freedom. And because of real estate and, everything that we've been doing all these years and all the properties we've been acquiring, it's allowed us to have this lifestyle, have kids later on in our lives and then be able to afford it without the struggle of no sleep and all that other stuff. So
yeah, you can enjoy it more than if you're young and poor, but whatever. Being young and poor is still a great way to have kids too. So anyway.
Well, I definitely wish I had more energy because those kids take a lot of energy, but it's definitely worth it.
Oh yeah. I noticed a big difference. I had my first kid at 25 and my last kid at 33. And at 33, I was like, I'm old, I'm tired. Okay. I'm 50. So now I laugh about that, but I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to dive into our awesome content for today. So I've got some great questions lined up for Iris. because we've had an interesting last year with a lot of market shifts that both Iris and I have felt in the Southern California market. But with that, why don't you tell us about your biggest challenging flip that you had last year?
Okay, yeah, well, I have to say every year there is a challenging flip. But this year, or I should say last year, 2018, I definitely had a big doozy, and this is and you know, I'm actually glad to talk about it because this was a situation. It was a property close to USC, really hot area right now in Southern California. Because of all the development going on over there. And we bought this house, we bought it at the right price. And when we fixed it all up, you know, our takeout price, which was earlier in the year, in 2018, was a lot higher than what I had originally calculated. So there was like a little push there. So I was really excited about that. But the week before we went on the market, we were getting a final on the roof, which we had pulled a permit for, which was the only permit I pulled. And the inspector wanted to see something on the inside. And unfortunately, when he saw what happened was going on in the inside and saw that everything was redone, he called us on everything. So basically, we had to take it off the market. And and then I felt like I had to redo that entire rehab a second time because we had to pull permits on everything. And then the biggest challenge of it all was he wanted us to reinforce the foundation and add a couple beams or put a bigger beam than we had initially put in there. So it involved like removing the kitchen, having to go underneath the house and, you know, dig, you know, put some footings in. And so just a hot mess. And, you know, our house was staged and it was, anyway, to make a long story short, I often get asked, you know, do you pull permits or not? And you know, I'm still going to say, and this has always been my my philosophy. If it's just a straight cosmetic fixture and I can get in and there, out of there really fast, then I'm going to do it as quickly as possible and take that chance. Are you supposed to pull permits? For the record, absolutely you are. Okay, but I'm gonna go in there and take my chance and get it done as quickly as possible. My biggest advice, you know, work tight, keep the front door closed, the garage door down, the windows, maybe something on the windows so it doesn't invite any looky-loos. If you're gonna do anything major like roofs, right, where it can be seen from the street or where you know they're doing other renovations, definitely pull a permit on that because, you know, all it takes is a code enforcement person to drive by and see you're working on the roof, and they're gonna call you on it. So, or either that, or just make sure your entire roof is done in one weekend, right?
Yes, we do that a lot. New roof in a weekend, off on Saturday or Friday afternoon. And
right. Yeah, so you can work smart about it, right? Or if you're going to actually add bathrooms, there's obviously square footage and things like that. You definitely want to get that permitted so then it's on record. So in this case, you know, I pulled the roof permit because there were other rehabs going on the street. But it was that got us pinched, unfortunately, because he saw something when he was looking in from the roof, and then that was it. And then, so, you know, I had taken out a wall, and, you know, I had everything, what do you call this, done by, what do you call this, general contractor, right? But, you know, it turns out everything, the calculations were wrong because we had to redo everything. And it just, to make a long story short, that was like a long renovation to begin with. That took us like 8 months, took another 6 months to just finish everything with the permits. And the thing is when you get popped, just be prepared. The inspectors will be pissed and they're going to call you on everything. So you just got to work with them, do your best, and pretty soon, you know, they'll turn it around and be nice and try to get you going on your way. But that was a really tough project. Again, it added 6 months to our whole thing. And part of it, you know, again, it wasn't just that the construction and, you know, the whole part of the reason why it took so long was because this was in LA, city of LA, and they were so short-handed on inspectors. So literally we would call for an inspection and they would cancel the day of the inspection and then reschedule it for 2 days later. And then 2 days later, they would cancel and then reschedule it, and it would be the following week. So before you know it, weeks on end would go by, and we couldn't move forward. So, that's, time is money in this flipping game. So it's like, oh, that was such a heartache. And then to add on top of that, once we were finally done, we came back out towards the end of the year, and the market had shifted. The market had definitely showed there was a palpable shift in the market. I mean, if you looked on the MLS, everything was price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. And so what we had originally, we had originally gone to market, and we already had offers that were over asking. So that was like, woohoo. And all I could think of was, if we take it through the summer, it's even going to get hotter. Right? And then it totally cooled down. So it's kind of crazy. So instead of being able to sell it for more, we actually had to sell it for less. So luckily, for us, I mean, it wasn't a loss. We still made a profit, but it was like this profit versus this profit. And so
well, that's amazing. My hat is off to you. My hard hat is off to you that you made a profit with all those challenges, because I don't think I would have. I couldn't carry, interest costs for an extra 6 months on a house.
Oh, yeah.
And all the extra contractor costs, because I'm sure the contractor charged you for all of that work.
Absolutely, and engineering and an architect and all that stuff. So the cost ballooned like, oh my gosh. I think we were in this our original budget. It probably ballooned another 40,000 on top of what our original budget was.
What was your original budget?
It was pretty high. It was like 80. It was like 80, I think, if I remember the numbers right. Okay. But yeah, we ended up with quite a bit of money in that thing. So again, we were just so fortunate that we were able to walk away with a small profit. But, as a flipper, when you spend 14 months of your life on a property, when you make this, if I had to calculate it, I probably made less than 50 cents an hour. Even that. So, but at the same time, I'm happy to say that we walked away with some money versus a huge loss. So actually, if I can just transition, for me, a lot of people want to know what's going on, like with my deals and stuff. And I kind of, admittedly, the end of last year was a little tough. I definitely felt, a market, it's hard. What would you call it, Holly? It's not so much a stabilization, maybe a market stall. And so I was looking at properties that we were buying and then what we were selling them at. And for me, for my personal deals, I felt there was a 5% little dip. And so 5% does not sound like a lot. But I want to caution your listeners, for example, that, an average house in Orange County or LA, let's say 600,000, right? That sounds pretty average for our markets, right? LA and Orange County. 5% on 600,000 is what, 30,000, right? And so, for a lot of newbies trying to get into this, I mean, that could be your entire profit margin. I joke with people that I tell them I don't want to get out of bed for less than $30,000. And I know a lot of people, will do deals that only have that margin. Mm-hmm. And, 5% dip, well, that takes everything away. And if you're someone new or starting out, or if you even go into the negative there, that can take a lot of people out. So I say that not to scare people to not go into flipping. I mean, we definitely had lucrative deals last year as well. But, just to be maybe in this market, I mean, we'll see what happens once the spring comes. But maybe in this market, I know I'm being a little more cautious, a little more conservative. And I'm also trying to account for that 5% dip. Or stall, I should say. Okay, so hopefully I'm totally wrong and it totally changes. But again, I'd rather not do the deal than have to pay for that deal at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Time to be careful, that's for sure. Well, I just wanted to jump in and share my experience about my recent flip in Orange, California. We had pulled a permit for, I think we tried to pull a permit for windows, and learned that our house in close to downtown Orange was literally like 1 or 2 houses inside the historic district. I'm making quotation marks. My contractor already ordered all the windows to replace the windows in the house, and we can't put them in because you have to keep the either the original wood windows or the same look, wood windows. They require that so that it keeps the character of Old Town Orange.
And that is not cheap. Number
No.
one, fixing the old windows or keeping them with wood windows, woo, that is like, that's a little too expensive for like my flipping budget.
Yeah, so that was like one challenge. And then my husband had pulled permits for like, I don't remember what he was and wasn't pulling permits for. It was like some of the things, but not all the things. So my contractor would tell the inspector, oh, that was already done when we got here. That was already done when we got here. And then the inspector would say, well, I want to see it anyway. So cut open the drywall here, cut open the drywall there. I have paid my contractor thousands to cut into all the drywall that he had done and patched and smooth. And then he has to cut into it, show the inspector, and then put it all back. Rip up wood flooring, show under the house because it's a raised foundation. And I mean, it's a pain, but you just got to deal with it. So whatever they did and didn't pull permits for wasn't enough. And those inspectors can ask to see whatever they want to see.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
have
a
to
snowball effect. And then, oh, now I want this, now I want that. And thousands over budget. But, you know, hopefully we'll see. It's going to go on the market in a couple of weeks. We'll see where it shakes out. And then the time too, because we have interest costs, Carrie.
That is a big one. You know, I mean, I was emphasizing the other night, I was talking to the Ren people in Los Angeles that, you know, if you have a $500,000 house and let's say you have 12% interest and you're flipping a house and you have, you know, what is it? What's 12% on 500,000? That's a
$5,000 every month.
Every
so if
month.
you have a 3 or 4 month delay, there's 20 grand, 15, 20 grand.
Out the
Yeah,
door.
and this one, I mean, I'm close at my interest rate, thankfully, is 8%. But yeah, I have a hard money loan on this house, and it gets pricey very fast. My contractor doesn't seem to care that it took him 4 months to do it instead of 2, but I'm like, oh, that's 2 more months of interest. And it's almost another 10 grand off the profit right there.
I know, it's crazy. Well, you know, I think the saving grace, even though we got popped, I mean, I learned, you know, I always learn, I always look for the lessons, right, in every deal. And, you know, so one thing I was thinking is, you know, for all the houses that we didn't have permits on, you know, to get one out of all, you know, the 10, 20, 30, 40 houses or whatever that, you know, we didn't get in trouble or popped, you know, is worth it.
Yes, yes. It's a risk. You got to balance and average it all out.
But, you know, as real estate investors, we're risk takers. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes, the thrill seekers. Okay, well, I would love to move on to another deal where I guess it was a longer term deal in your short term rental where you also got caught. So tell us about that one and what became of that.
Okay, so this is, you know, a lot of, you know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, I took a lot of the rentals that we own and we made them into short-term rentals using the Airbnb platform. And part of the reason why is because I love using Airbnb. So when I travel, especially when it's for more than, you know, 3 or 4 days, I like to be in a house with a kitchen or be in the center of town and blah, 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 without having to deal with hotels and whatnot. So I love the platform. And so it came like as a natural thing to actually do some on our own rentals. And, you know, luckily for us, you know, a lot of our rentals are in desirable places, close to Disneyland, obviously near the beach, things like that. So we, you know, I have to say, like many investors, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I love doing a lot of different things. So this, the point I'm trying to make is this is one of the few businesses that when started made money immediately, like, and within the first month was profitable. So it was really, really exciting to me to go in there and transform our long-term rentals into short-term rentals. So with that being said, one of our rentals, it was a condo, and we had been Airbnb-ing this since 3 years now, since 2015, no issues. Now, if you're gonna go into a complex like a condominium or anything that has an HOA, you have to be very careful. You need to review the CC&Rs and the bylaws and all that stuff. And when I bought this condo, I definitely looked into it and I didn't see anything that addressed short-term rentals, okay? So I thought, okay, we're cool. And like I said, for the last 3 years, We've been operating just fine. Well, I guess someone else in the complex, and it's a big complex, so I'm pretty surprised we were the only ones, but someone else in the complex decided to Airbnb their unit and got caught immediately. And then we got ratted out. Or I guess maybe after discovering them, they found us very quickly. So we got the letter to cease and desist. We got a huge fine, $1,000. And so I'm like, whoa, okay, we're gonna stop that. And so I thought, okay, so couple lessons here. If you're gonna go into an Airbnb, just make sure, I think a big mistake that a lot of new people getting into this make is that they rely on the short-term rental income to carry that house. And so from the beginning of time, I would tell people, just make sure, because the laws change all the time, that your rental works either as a short-term or a long-term. I use the platform to double and sometimes triple my rent. And all my rentals were just fine with long-term renters, and they cash flowed with long-term renters. It was just nice creating extra cash using the platform. So of course there's a silver lining in everything. And so we stopped. I had to cancel a bunch of reservations that we had. I think we were booked out till like March or April. And so I felt so bad for these people, but we had to stop because HOA, you know, required us to. But a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Nancy Lucci, I have to give her credit here because she referred me to this website, and it's called Furnished Finder. So in the event, let's say you have a situation like mine where you have an Airbnb and you have to go into long-term rental, and most cities define as long-term rental as anything 30 days or more. I posted on this website. You have to pay upfront, but it's really nominal. It's like $99 a year, but it's called furnishedfinder.com, and their audience are traveling nurses and traveling doctors. And so they'll get contracts to go to hospitals around the country, and their contracts are typically minimum 2 months, but can be up to 4 months. And they get monthly stipends on their housing. And so I posted on this website, and you know, within a few weeks, you know, I was getting a lot of hits from nurses looking for places to stay. Now they can stay in a room in a house, but in our case, in the condo, it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So I had 2 nurses come that both had contracts, asked if they could stay at the house, at the place. And so because it's a furnished place, you can charge more obviously than long-term rentals, and pretty much we got the same rate as we would be renting it to Airbnbs. But the pleasure of not having to deal with, you know, check-ins and
turnover. Yeah, no cleaning and all that. Or do you offer cleaning services?
Well, you know, this is our first one, so maybe in the future I will. I mean, the one great thing about, you know, the short-term rental thing is at least I knew it was getting cleaned every week. You know, with the nurse thing, yeah, maybe I should have offered a cleaning service so I can get in there and check the property, but maybe the next one. I didn't do it on this one. We already got the first contract, but I was just so like relieved because, you know, I'm like, when you're making double the rents or triple the rents, who wants to go back to just, you know, market rent, right?
Right, definitely.
So thrilled. And then, you know, I didn't have to take out any of the furniture. Everything gets to stay, and now I'm not in violation, you know, with the HOA. So it's just win-win-win situation all around. So just a little tip. Thank you, Nancy, if you're listening to this, but it really worked for us. And, you know, I know some people may run into that situation. So it's a great little find, and furnishedfinder.com. And if that happens to you, that definitely give it a go. So
that's awesome. So I've looked into many HOAs, and they have the requirement of a 30-day minimum rental, but a lot of cities throughout all of Southern California have just said no to short-term rentals. So if you guys, wherever you are, just check that out. And Iris makes a great point. Make sure that you're not relying on that solely, because it can go away. Laws change, things change. So yeah, I found a place in Laguna Hills. There is this huge condo complex, and I called them on behalf of a client and said, do you have any rules against short-term rentals and vacation rentals, Airbnb? And the guy goes, no, I don't think we do. And there's some of them going on. And I didn't say I'm calling for this person or this unit. It was somebody that was just considering buying. I was shocked because Laguna Hills is right next to Irvine, which is a very desirable place. So
Yeah.
Iris.
And next
Maybe
to
one of,
Laguna Beach. And
yes,
yeah.
yeah, it was right by the 5 freeway,
Mhm.
the Irvine Spectrum. I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
it's a golden opportunity for people,
Wow,
but
that's
it's a
interesting.
little scary. Like if you go in relying on that, and then if they change that in the future because of poorly behaved guests, that, you know, that could be a problem. So
Yeah. Mhm.
beware, beware. Well, I'm glad that one turned out well for you. And thanks for
Yeah.
sharing furnishedfinder.com. So you
Oh,
guys can check that out.
the other one I found too during all this is corporate housing by owner. Corporate housing, chbo.com. I didn't actually go on the
Oh,
website. It's also a paid platform, but you know, it's all corporate housing, so furnished housing. So in the event something, that's maybe one you can check out as well.
awesome. Great tips today. Awesome. Okay. With that, let's move on to, on our high note, that we're going to end, one of your best deals of the year that was the
Oh,
surprise.
yeah, this was a total surprise deal. So, you know, I deal primarily, I'm a fix and flipper, so I deal primarily with SFRs. It's my gig. It's what, and I like to stay in my lane. I like to do what I know best. But at the end of 2018, there was a deal that we came across, my partner Anastasia and I, she found this deal because of a long-term relationship. And I know you're big on relationships and networking and stuff, Holly, so you're going to love this. But Anastasia had been talking to this potential seller for, I kid you not, over 10 years. And, you know, just kind of, you know, I think cold called him and, you know, was asking if he was interested in selling his units. And, you know, he was never interested in selling his units, but he got a Christmas card every year. So he knew who Anastasia was, and sure enough, I guess this was the year that he was ready to sell. And you know, Anastasia would always ask him, you know, if you would sell it, you know, how much would you sell it for? And it was like always over $1 million and blah blah blah. And Anastasia's like, it's too much for the property. But this year, you know, his health kind of declined. His son and daughter stepped in. They didn't want anything to do with the real estate. This property was in South Central LA, rent control, 9 units. And again, so this is a property type that I'm not accustomed. I mean, we have other units and apartments, but it's just not something that I'm accustomed to, let's say, flipping. So and you know, LA, the cap rates are so low. Like these things they barely cash flow, right? And again, you know, what it, you know, it's rent control, and these tenants have been there forever. And to get a tenant out and, you know, rent control building, you know, you have to pay them 20 grand and have good cause and all this stuff. So I was a little weary about this thing, but, you know, just for the sake of clarity, you know, I'll throw out some numbers. So we bought this house for 745. And we closed right before Christmas Eve. It was like our little Christmas present. It was cute, but I was a little scared because, you know, I'm not so much in the multi-unit market. But in less than a month, we had so many unsolicited offers for almost close to $1 million to buy this house, like straight up. And I was so surprised. So I'm like, I was just trying to figure out what is going on here, right? I mean, is it because it's close to SC and, you know, South Central? I mean, what, you know, the rent control, I didn't quite understand, you know, what that meant, you know, but I guess the small apartments are a little hot right now. And so I'm really double thinking if we should keep this or if we should just go ahead and flip it, because I'm a flipper and I honestly don't really like dealing with rent control and housing, you know, because it is with, you have right now, part of the reason why we got it for a good deal was because they had some housing violations and we took on the property with those violations. So we took on their problem. Again, another big lesson, right? You know, sellers may not be motivated today, but they might be tomorrow. And you never know for what reason. You can't judge it, right? So he was, you know, starting to decline, you know, in
Mentally.
mental capacity, and they got pinched or they got hit with a couple violations from housing that it was really hard for him to deal with because he was much older. And so, you know, unmotivated sellers, you know, today could be totally motivated sellers tomorrow. So never give up, keep networking, keep those relationships going. Anyway, I kind of got off
Okay,
track.
so I don't know if you said this, but how many units is it, this building?
It's 9 units.
And
And
what was your purchase price?
we bought it for $745.
And you're getting offers up to almost 1 million
Yeah,
weeks after you closed.
that's right. And so, I'm not sure if we're going to sell it to one of these unsolicited offers. I mean, we might be better off, and you know this, Holly, because you're an agent, but we might be better off going on the MLS and, really going for it. So my goal right now is to make all the corrections so the house is clear, and then maybe, and then see what happens once it goes to the MLS. So we might be able to, and Anastasia doesn't want to leave any money on the table. So it's kind of exciting. It's kind of, I had no idea that that there was that much potential in these units in South Central rent control. So there you
Wow.
go.
So South Central LA, near USC, not the safest neighborhood, I take it?
No, and we're right across the street from a church. And apparently, everyone tells me on the weekends there's like a huge fiesta on the street and got all kinds of street vendors. So I haven't been there on the weekends. And then, I do see some tent encampments around there. So, it's not like the perfect area. And I have to say, every time I've gone there, and I've gone there at night, it doesn't feel like, Irvine, but it doesn't feel menacing either. So
okay. So you haven't been afraid for your life. Okay,
yeah,
good.
So, I'll drive down there. It's not a big deal. So,
Okay.
yeah. So again, I don't want to predict that the, small apartment market is going to take off, but I just, I'm just sharing what my experience is, and maybe I'm onto something, maybe I'm not, I don't know. But again, a great deal to begin with. You make your money when you buy, but all due to a very long-term relationship and her not giving up on this seller, right? Eventually they all are going to sell. So just, are you willing to hang in there?
I love it. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, well, before we wrap up our show, what are you kind of planning and forecasting for this year? Are you changing anything from last year?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it a little more conservative. I think I made a statement earlier, I'd rather not play and have to pay for it at the end of the day. I'd rather just hang out with my beautiful boys, right? And versus work so hard and then have the market dip just a little and then work for free. So no one wants to work for free. So it's not like I'm not buying anything. I'm just being a little more conservative as far as what we're getting into and just making sure that the margins are clear. And the thing is you have to know in your head that those deals are out there. They always are, right? They always are. It's just you have to be able to just believe in your heart that they're there and you will find them. There are people waiting for you to help them, right? And so get out there. They're still there. So again, and something interesting, Anastasia is a broker. She's an agent. And what I'm finding is that I have been meeting with several potential sellers, from the beginning of the year. And I've given them my honest opinion on value and giving my, this is my offer. This is what I can do. This is how much it's going to cost. These are the holding costs, laying out the whole thing. And this is how much it's going to cost to renovate your house. And they still want more than what I can offer. And so I've been, I've teamed up really well with Anastasia because if they can't take my cash offer, that will, because let's say maybe cash is not the issue, right? They have time. Well, then, you know what, let's just go ahead and list it. And at least, she still gets the commission, which is great.
Right.
But, at least, I guess what I'm saying is it's nice having a partner like that or a business partner you can work with where if you don't get the deal, on the front end, at least you have some commission or something out of the deal, right? Instead of just losing it. So.
Oh, I'd love to jump in there and add. I had 2 listings last year from wholesalers that brought me. They're like, they told me, "Hey, Holly, I wanted to wholesale this house to you, but they're not, in a desperate situation. I think their best listing, but look at it to see if you can buy it, and then maybe you can list it." And as a realtor, I cannot pay officially, referral fees to a non-licensed realtor. So you realtors, that, and you got to be careful. But find a way that you can be compensated. If you are a wholesaler or flipper and you refer a listing out to someone, figure out some kind of way that you can be compensated, because I found a way to compensate these people and do it legally. And that way, I mean, I got 2 listings as an agent that didn't work for flips. So if you're in that situation, find a realtor that can compensate you. Don't leave that money on the table, because that's a great opportunity.
I think so too, and I just want to add, you know, as an investor, as a flipper, you know, we're out there to help people, help solve problems for people, right? And in some situations, you know, maybe their best solution is to just list it, right?
Yes.
So don't take that away from them, right? It's just gain your karma points and list it.
Yep.
Great
Absolutely.
point, Holly. I mean, yeah, if you're a wholesaler, you know, you can get compensated. Just get creative.
Figure it out. Yes. Well, before we close the show, I'd love for you to talk about your fantastic real estate club that's been running, over 10 years now, right?
Yeah, can you believe that? Holy wow, gosh. We started that in 2007. So yeah, we're going to be, this March it's going to be 12 years. That's crazy.
Awesome.
Anyway, our real estate club is called Invest Club, formerly known as Invest Club for Women. So some of you may know me. Well, if you watched the first interview, it was Invest Club for Women. But we meet every 3rd Wednesdays of the month in Fullerton at Hotel Fullerton. And you can definitely check out the website. It's reinvestclub.com. So you can go there, check out who our monthly speakers are, and just confirm dates and times. Again, we're typically 3rd Wednesdays of the month from 6:30 to 9. And come join us. We have great speakers every month, and would love to see you. And last but not least, you know, if you're new or you want to get into this real estate thing, you know, we created a class at Invest Club called 60-Day Challenge. And it's exactly that. It's a class that's going to kick your butt into getting into real estate. So, you know, something that I found a common problem, Holly, I'm sure you see this a lot too. A lot of people talk about wanting to do real estate. They take a lot of classes, go to a ton of seminars, maybe even paid, you know, $30,000, $60,000, $70,000 on coaching programs, but yet they do nothing. They can't take action, or maybe there's still fear. And so we created a program that is not a 6-month coaching program. It's not an overnight seminar. It's 60 days, and you can do anything for 60 days. But it's definitely program that's going to turn you turn you from a wannabe investor to a real estate warrior. Let me just say that. And so it's going to hold you accountable, all this great stuff. And so if you really want to dive deep into it this year, come check it out. It's 60daychallengeonline.com, or you can go through our website, RE Invest Club, and you can find out more. We are starting one again soon, so that's going to be in April. So if you're interested, please check out the website, 60daychallengeonline.com. Thank you, Holly. And you know, Holly's a big part of the 60-Day Challenge too. She always comes as a guest mentor and helps out students, and you're just a wealth of knowledge all the time, Holly. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And there's a little self-interest in there too, that, you know, whatever these wholesalers find that doesn't suit your needs, you know, can come my way too. I'm always looking to buy houses. So there's definitely self-interest. I'm not that great, but whatever. I do love to help and teach people. Love it. I just get so excited for anyone to find more freedom in their lives through having more money, because money buys freedom, right? It reduces stress. Well, thank you so much. So our free giveaway for this episode, Iris is giving away a free pass to those of you that want to come to her club in Southern California in Fullerton. It's south of LA, north of San Diego. So a lot of you guys can come to it. So go to hardhatholly.com/113. We're episode 113.
Wow.
hardhatholly.com/113. And there will be a link there that you can click on, and we will email you your free pass that you can, we'll have the address for it and everything there, and you can take it and go to Iris's club. It's awesome. I've been many times, and it's fantastic information. So also you can text to the number 38470. That's 38470. You text Hard Hat, all one word, no spaces. And if you text me there, we can also send you the link for the free pass to the club, and you'll get notified weekly of our new podcasts. So with that, thank you so much for sharing your very valuable time with us today, Iris. And what's your last words of advice for people who are thinking about or just haven't taken that action to jump in?
Well, we have a couple things, or one of my favorite sayings at the club is, have fun, make money.
Yes.
So yeah, just go for it, you guys. I mean, there's again, my whole thing is there's so many ways to make money in real estate. So if you hang out enough, you be around the right people, get the right mentoring, the right education, you're going to find something that suits your personality and suits what you like to do, and everyone can make money in this business. So just do it.
Amen, sister. Woo! All right, get out there, guys, and take some action. Thank you. Hey there, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like it and click subscribe to get notified of more videos. And you can go to hardhatholly.com for a free download on secrets to finding great deals.